Well, good morning, Facebook Live. This is Mike George coming at you live from Columbus, Ohio, on this beautiful Friday morning, the 22nd of September, 2023. I decided it's been a few weeks since I've come home, so to speak, to Columbus, and I have to say, it happens quite often that I find myself in old neighborhoods that I can barely recognize. And I have to, honestly, there's times when I have to question, am I in Columbus? And so here's a good example right here. This is Oak Street, and this is actually a street that I used to live on back in the mid-2010s, which is not that long ago. I lived on Oak and Parsons. Gosh darn it, what was that? 2015 era, we'll say 2015 to 2017. So it's only been like maybe 6 to 8 years is kind of a long time, but it's kind of incredible to see like throughout the city, like just what exactly has popped up in just a short time of 6 to 8 years. And I have to say, I mean, I'm from an area, being from Steubenville, Ohio, I mean, one can say I'm pretty accustomed to seeing things leave town, not come to town. And Columbus is kind of has been this interesting sort of phase in the last decade or so of sort of like breakneck growth. And so I'll kind of show you an example here of Oak Street. I can't even tell you what used to be here. I want to say maybe kind of a combination of empty lots and sort of single family homes, but now look what's popped up kind of in its place. I got these sort of modern looking what we call townhouses, and shoot, I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of them too. Now this one looks like it's still under construction, still finishing up it looks like they're finishing up some of the final touches on it. I'm not sure if any of these other ones across the street have been rented out already, but it's, there's stuff like this all over the place. Brand new developments just popping up like mushrooms. And, of course, the optimist in me wants to assume that some of these things going up are indeed middle-class, affordable housing. But then there's also the cynic in me who sees things like $1,500 a month studios and starts to get a little nervous about kind of how the neighborhood is changing, and kind of who it's changing for, and who the heck can afford all that? So, it's incredible. I mean, you kind of mixed within the old houses of Oak Street. I mean, I guess you can kind of go down and see what the traditional neighborhood looks like. You got some of the existing houses along the way here. I've always loved Oak Street as well as Bryden. They kind of run parallel to each other, but I find this area's got some of the most beautiful houses. Well, shoot, I mean, probably I want to say in the state, because I mean, considering I think the old governor's mansion is somewhere around this part of town. It's, this is kind of where, as I understand it, at least along Bryden Road or Bryden Street, kind of where the cream of the crop of Columbus used to live before they all fled for the suburbs in the 60s and such. So, but nonetheless, I mean, nowadays everybody's coming back into the city, which I love. The urbanist in me loves all of this development in the city. However, there is always such thing as too much of a good thing, and well, I don't know. I can't say that Columbus has been extremely like awful in terms of like gentrification and sort of the the lack of affordable housing. It seems like Columbus has kind of done pretty well in terms of managing all that growth without having these skyrocketing rent like you see in some of the coastal cities and such. So it's really nice to see, like, gosh, I mean, it's quite wonderful to see, in Ohio, a city growing rapidly. Like I said, I'm used to living in places or being from places that are sort of in this perpetual state of decline. So it's really refreshing to see Columbus prosper. And I don't think Columbus is the only city. I mean, you got a lot of even a lot of small towns. Like I was in Mansfield about last month, and even to see small towns like Mansfield, like Natchez, Mississippi, you might recall from my time there in February. It's not just the big cities that are prospering; it's the small towns too. And I have to say, like, it kind of blows my mind a little bit to see sort of the downtowns of small towns like Natchez, Mississippi, and even Alexandria, Louisiana, and hell, maybe even Steubenville, Ohio. I'm not even sure. I haven't checked, but it's weird to see, like, rent in some of these small towns going for like $1,200 a month, for like a 1-bedroom. That's kind of crazy to me. I don't know how that's a sustainable thing. I mean, it always sort of seemed in my head like, the cities are expensive, but if you couldn't afford to live in the cities, that there were still the small towns out in the outskirts. But even those small towns are starting to get pricey, and one has to wonder kind of what happens to the people that used to live in these places when they can no longer afford to rent. So anyways, I'll resist the urge to go into a big old rant on affordable housing and urban development and such. But I just wanted to share with you, and I kind of want to I might do several of these videos, just kind of looking at different parts of Columbus. And my gosh, here we come now to another sort of brand new housing development that's sort of popped up in the last few years. I mean, this one's actually kind of a beast. It looks like. Let me kind of turn the camera around, show you here. This is this is Oak Street. I've been going down. And this will be approaching Oak Street and I believe 18th or 17th or whatever the street is that the Olde Towne Tavern is on. So this would be this sort of block of, I guess, townhouses or row houses or whatnot is catty corner to the Olde Towne Tavern. Just to kind of give some of you folks a little bit of that, a little bit of reference here. Look at that thing, man. Yeah, it's just like just like playing Sim City, seeing like all this construction and all these housing developments pop up. It really does feel like a little bit like I'm in a Sim City game or something like that. But look at this, guys. And of course, this is kind of like you see buildings like this kind of interspersed throughout old neighborhoods, which are kind of traditionally, like I said, like single family houses, and it's just really remarkable to see this. Like I said, the sort of the environmentalist and the urbanist in me, praises sort of the more densified development, but I just wonder how you can have so much housing stock and so much density of housing, but still have like these really high rents that you're seeing them ask for. I mean, one would think that density and just general abundance of this new housing coming up would sort of alleviate that sort of pressure on the demand, at least on the supply side of the housing market. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I call up some of these landlords to find a place to live. Anyways, just want to do I wanted to do a little bit of an update here. Kind of show you what Olde Towne East looks like now. In fact, here's the famous Olde Towne East mural, which is located at where the old Yellow Brick Pizza was. Yellow Brick Pizza and Arcade Super Awesome, which have since moved over to Franklinton, which is a whole nother sort of kind of breakneck development that's occurred in the last 5 to 10 years or so. So I'll be sure to do another one of these things here, another one of these Facebook Live videos from Franklinton, because that's probably one of the most incredible areas besides the short north to kind of witness the development of in this last 6 years or so in Columbus. So anyways, coming at you live from Columbus, Ohio, from the Olde Towne East neighborhood, my old stomping grounds. This has been Mike George. Happy Friday, y'all. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Toodaloo.